You're watching Fox 26, and now Fox 26 News at 10 o'clock.
Good evening. We are following a number of breaking news stories tonight at the local, state, national, and international levels. We're going to start with the Federal Appeals Court, where a 3-judge panel ruled just over an hour ago to allow President Donald Trump's deployment of California National Guard soldiers. We reversed a decision from a lower court today, which had ordered the president to return control of the California National Guard to Governor Gavin Newsom. The Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals says that it will be holding a hearing on this decision on June 17th. Earlier in the day, the National Guard confirmed that it was training troops in California to accompany ICE agents on immigration raids. This comes hours after another confrontation played out in Los Angeles. California Senator Alex Padilla had to be physically removed from a news conference held by Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem. Here's that video.
Sir, hands up. I'm Senator Alex Padilla. I have questions for the secretary, because the fact of the matter is a half a dozen violent criminals that you're rotating on your
I also want to
hands off.
How many of our ICE agents have been docked?
On the ground. Hands behind your back. Hands behind your back.
If you don't have my hands, go ahead, put them behind my back.
All right. Cool. Other hand. Lay flat. Lay flat.
Other hand, sir. Other hand.
There's no recording allowed out here.
I do not know.
There's no recording allowed out here per up guy, right? For the building.
So what, I'm sorry?
There's no recording allowed out here.
That's my boss. I have to
There's no recording allowed out
here.
here. You can record. There's no recording allowed out here.
I'm not a member
There's
of the
no
press.
recording allowed out here.
I understand that, sir, but
Now let's take a closer look at how all of this unfolded. You just saw that video of the senator being pulled out of the news conference. We've gathered 2 different angles to show you what you're going to see on the left of your screen in the moment is Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem speaking at her news conference. Then after about 12 seconds, you'll hear Senator Padilla interrupt and then see him removed. That video, by the way, did come from the senator's staff. And tonight, the senator's office told me that he had sent the Trump administration over a dozen immigration-related requests, but had not received any responses to date. Now, I did want to clarify whether those requests were addressed to Secretary Noem and if those were sent prior to today's news conference. I'm still waiting for an answer on that. Meantime, Padilla says that he still has concerns over how he was treated.
If this is how the Department of Homeland Security responds to a senator with a question, you can only imagine what they're doing to farm workers, to cooks, to day laborers out in the Los Angeles community and throughout California and throughout the country.
The California Democrat says that he was attempting to ask a question about the Los Angeles ICE raids when law enforcement forced him out of the room and, as you saw, handcuffed him on the floor. The senator says he had been escorted into the building by federal law enforcement. Secretary Noem insists that the senator lunged at people during the news conference.
I'll let the law enforcement speak to how this situation was handled, but I will say that it's people need to identify themselves before they start lunging at people that during press conferences.
By the way, a 3rd night of curfew is in effect for Los Angeles right now. Now, let's take a live look at Israel for the second big story that we're following tonight. The world watching, bracing for imminent retaliation after Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says the country struck nuclear targets in Iran. And he says the military operation will continue for many days. Israel bombed targeted nuclear and military sites in the capital city of Tehran.
Today, Israel has shown that we have learned the lessons of history. When enemies vow to destroy you, believe them. When enemies build weapons of mass death, stop them.
Iranian state media confirms tonight that the bombing killed Revolutionary Guards Chief Hossein Salami during an attack on the Guards headquarters. 2 nuclear scientists are also feared dead. The Israeli military chief says that tens of thousands of soldiers will be preparing for battle. Netanyahu says that Iran has produced enough uranium for 9 atom bombs. So just how many countries have nuclear weapons? Well, according to the International Campaign to Abolish Nuclear Weapons, there are more than 12,000 nuclear warheads in the world. Currently, only 9 countries possess nuclear weapons. Russia and the U.S. are the world's largest nuclear powers, holding nearly 90% of the total. China, France, and the United Kingdom are next, with far fewer warheads. India, Pakistan, Israel, and North Korea also have nuclear warheads. And now to breaking news we are following out of West Central Fresno, where a man is in a hospital after he was shot in the chest. This is still an active police scene. Fresno police say they received a shot spotter alert at a home in the area of Crystal and Griffith Way. This was just before 7. When officers arrived, they found the man in his 30s with a gunshot wound to the chest. He was taken to an area hospital where police last said he was in critical condition. We're told several homes in the area were hit by gunfire as well as a vehicle. A suspect hasn't been identified, and officers are asking people to stay out of that area as they're gathering evidence and talking to witnesses. If you have any information on this shooting, call Fresno Police. Fresno City Council member Miguel Arias is now being called out by a local swap meet for comments that he made at today's City Council meeting. He said Immigration and Customs Enforcement, or ICE, will be at the Cherry Auction swap meet in Fresno this Saturday. Since then, the city of Fresno and the Cherry have released statements saying they have no knowledge of any ICE activity. Fox 26's Brianda Lemos joins us live from downtown Fresno with what else the two are saying tonight. And Brianda, did the council member say where he got that information?
Well, Liz, Arias wouldn't say and instead directed me to call a number of federal agencies. And as we've been reporting, the immigration raids have brought fear and tension to many across the valley. But after Arias' statement today, the Curry's auction says the comments, referring the comment as puzzling and offensive.
And we have learned that this weekend, ICE is planning to engage in a massive immigration raid at the Cherry Auction in Fresno.
This statement during Thursday's Fresno City Council meeting spread quickly online, leaving many immigrant communities worried.
So I would advise our immigrant community that they should stay away from the Cherry Auction this weekend, as they would put themselves and their families in the most vulnerable position to be picked up and taken out of country without due process, as has been clearly documented in our state.
But 6 miles away, the Cherry Avenue auction grounds are empty, a far cry from the crowd on Tuesdays and Saturdays who show up for food trucks, vendors, and produce. The auction posted on its social media Thursday it has no knowledge of any planned raid at our facility, and added that council member Arias claiming to have that information is, quote, puzzling and offensive. The city of Fresno also put out a statement after Arias' comment saying, the city of Fresno has not been made aware of any immigration enforcement action taking place this weekend at the Cherry Auction. The Fresno County Sheriff's Office also says it's not aware of any immigration operation in our area, saying it does not get told when ICE, Homeland Security, or even Border Patrol are in the area. But it encourages the public to not spread messages about pending immigration operations, saying this not only does put officers' lives in jeopardy, but it creates panic and fear. Local law enforcement say their vehicles are being wrongfully labeled as ICE during search warrants and probation checks, and they're encouraging the public to not spread false information. In Fresno, Brianda Lemus, Fox 26 News.
All right, thanks so much, Brianda. The Cherry Auction also stated that this isn't the first time that it's had to deal with talks of an ICE raid this year, as it calls them rumors. It says it dealt with a similar rumor back in January. Well, the Madera County Sheriff's Office received several inquiries regarding the presence of federal agents near the Madera Ranchos. The Sheriff's Office says it was not informed of any planned ICE activities. It also explained that the activity some may have observed is actually related to an operation by the Central Valley Internet Crimes Against Children Task Force. That task force includes members from the Department of Homeland Security. The Sheriff's Office emphasized its commitment to upholding California State Law SB 54, which outlines when local agencies may cooperate with federal immigration enforcement. And the panic and fear that we're seeing isn't just here in the Valley. An Irvine City Council member, Kathleen Tressiter, encouraged undocumented immigrants and vulnerable individuals to stay indoors and avoid unnecessary travel after hearing about ICE agents stationed in her area. She posted to Instagram that she'd been informed that ICE would be in 8 to 10 locations around Irvine today, and that those who are undocumented or vulnerable are strongly encouraged to stay home. The Irvine Police Department clarified that it would not be involved in any federal immigration enforcement activities.